Hello and welcome to another episode of Quickies with Angela and Caity.
I'm Angela Dawn of Authentic Heart Coaching. I'm a tantric sex coach and I help couples get closer.
And I'm Caity Wilkinson of Caity Coaches. I'm a sex, love, and relationship coach, and I can help you bring more pleasure to your partnership by bringing more pleasure to yourself. For today's episode, Angela brought Mia Moon on board to talk with us about opening our sexuality through energy healing.
Right, Katie? Mia is a colleague and also a friend. She's a fellow healer in the Annapolis area. And the last time we got together, I thought, how have I not invited Mia to join us on our podcast yet? So it just seemed like now is exactly the right time to do it.
Mia Proctor, also known as Mia Moon, is a certified Master Reiki Teacher practitioner in the, and I apologize in advance of my pronunciation here, Usui Shiki Ryoho method, and uses a combination of crystals and sound therapy with her clients as well. We're very excited to hear from you today. Welcome to Quickies, Mia.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with both of you and to meet you. And finally, Angela, we put this together. So I'm excited to be on this episode and talk about energy healing and sexual energy because it's the same thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
So to start things off, can you tell our listeners more about your background and what it is that you do?
Okay, so I am a Master Reiki practitioner, and so 2019 I started that journey with energy healing, gifts awakened in 2017. But of course, I pushed those gifts down because it made me different and it was overwhelming. So in 2019, a friend told me about Reiki, and I was like, what is that? And booked a session and loved it and decided to learn Reiki. And throughout that journey, it has helped me with my multiple sclerosis. It has helped me with my confidence. Yeah. And I've seen how it has helped people on their personal journey, whatever it is, it helps with everything. And so throughout that, I've grown to understand myself more, heal my trauma, as well as be kind of the light for others. And it continues to grow. So yes, that's kind of my journey. And then with sound healing, I used to play the violin for 15 years, the cello. Music has always been part of the family. And one day I just bought the crystal bowl at Earthbound and it was playing the crystals bowl around my plants. And so my garden was my first audience. And so I've seen the impact of sound healing with myself and others and my pet tortoise. So I just continue to learn and grow, and it's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mia. Yeah, your path has been an incredible one. I've been fortunate to be with you now for a year or so, getting to know you and hearing all about it. So I'm excited that we get to share this.
Yes, me too.
So today we'd like to talk about your work to help people open themselves to love and intimate connection. How can Reiki help with this? And also, what is Reiki for those of us
Yeah.
like me who are
Right.
pretty unfamiliar?
I want to tell people what Reiki is first.
Yes, so what Reiki is life force energy that is all around us. And as a practitioner, you're attuned to the symbols, and there are different symbols, and it comes down through the crown chakra at the top of your head, and it flows down your arms into your hands. So what the Reiki does is it goes to the body, the person's body, to bring some healing energy. And so it's healing the physical, the emotional, mental, spiritual body, balancing the chakras. And we all carry heavy energy, which in shamanic practice is hucha. And so it clears out those that heavy energy, so you're able to manifest things at a quicker rate, be able to attract new opportunities. And Reiki is great for manifestation and healing the past. So it's just kind of a universal force that's all around us. And as practitioners, we just tap into it. But anyone can, do that as well with the right, teacher and learning the symbols.
And how exactly does the love and intimate connection piece, how do you connect that with Reiki?
So through the chakras. So our chakras are basically energy vortexes in our body, represents our inner health, endocrine system. And so I would focus on the lower chakras, which is the root chakra at the base of the spine, the sacral chakra, which is actually the sexual energy chakra that connects to the sexual organs, our emotions, our creativity. And then our solar plexus, which is our personal power, self-esteem, kind of the action, connects to the fire energy. And so working on balancing those, just because sexual energy is a universal energy, but we want to make sure we're grounded in the earth energy and the earth chakras. And I will say sometimes during sessions, I have felt that sexual energy through the healing energy. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? But, you know, it is how things are birthed and created is through that sexual energy. So we would talk about that and like the relationship around sex, and also if there's any trauma from their past and what they would like to manifest during, you know, sexual intercourse, and how to just bring in that, you know, universal Kundalini love energy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we need to unpack the chakras a little bit, Caity, too. This is a high level episode.
So I know that some of our listeners might be familiar with the most popular 7 chakra system from India, but I'm guessing that the majority probably aren't familiar. So let's go ahead and dive deeper here.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Mia got right into it, with that last question. So, yeah, chakras are thought of as centers of spiritual power in our body. And Caity and I studied with Layla Martin when we became sex coaches, and the way Layla Martin characterizes it and the way other tantric practitioners and scholars I know explain chakras is a little bit different than that. Just not that they're like self-existing in our body per se, but we think of them as points of power that we can create through the use of mantra and conscious focus. That allows us to work with different parts of the body, mind, and the brain. And using these points from a tantric and a yogic perspective is really about integration on the neurological level, right? So hence, healing can happen on a neurological level if you're working with chakras. So as was mentioned a minute ago, the chakra system that most of us in the US are familiar with is the 7 chakra system. And so we're talking about starting at the base of the body, as Mia mentioned, the root chakra. We're talking about the sacral chakra coming up into the sexual organ area. That's more about creativity, right? So the sexual act is creative, but we can also be talking about all kinds of creativity here. The solar plexus chakra in the center of the body, kind of below the ribs, above the navel. That's really who you are, right? Your self-concept and your power. And then everybody knows about heart energy, right? Your energetic and spiritual heart. And then we have the throat chakra, which is about truth and communication. And we have the third eye chakra, which is really about, wisdom, decision making. And then some people call it a chakra, some people don't, but we have the crown chakra in the 7 chakra system, which is our connection to the spiritual. And I want to focus our conversation with Mia on the ones that she believes are most relevant to working with our sense of safety and sexual connection. Yeah, so why don't you go over those a little bit, Mia?
Sure. Yeah. So definitely, I feel like the root chakra, because that's the physical body, that's the I am here. And it's kind of our safety net. And so when we are not grounded, we can cause issues in our body, or especially the back, and just like feeling heavy. And so definitely the root chakra, and it's at the base of the spine. So it's almost close to the sacral chakra. So that is below our navel, and that deals with our sexual energy and just our emotions, our creativity. How do we flow through, through sexual acts? And then the solar plexus, it's our self-esteem, our personal power, where are we giving our power away? And then with those 3 together, it builds that relationship. And lastly, the heart. I feel like the heart chakra, because sometimes, especially in society, we have demonized sex into a more animalistic thing. And so people are not able to really make that true, that Kundalini energy, which is at the base of the spine, that starts at the root chakra, to really have that ecstasy, that blissful state. And I know you guys know this about tantric, you know, that's how some people can reach enlightenment, which I believe is just a journey through that. And so I think the first four chakras are great for, you know, sexual energy, and just kind of getting the base of that. And then it just flows up through the throat chakra, using your voice, asking for what you want, and just releasing things, because the voice is a very healing thing. And then the third eye, just seeing, like, imagination, getting out the mind and just trusting. And then the crown chakra, just pulling in that source energy and making that kind of that connection to source through sexual energy and that Kundalini rising. And so I definitely think all of it goes together, but we've got to start at the base, you know, the root chakra.
Yeah, I mean that only makes sense. When I lead workshops, sometimes I'll work with third eye first, but you're always starting with the root. You know, you always have to start with the root, and looking at the root chakra is about, are my needs met? You know, am I fed? Am I watered? Am I clothed? Am I loved? Right? Am I in the right kind of container for growth? And I think, you know, when people are having relational difficulty, you have to look at the root chakra first, because if your basic needs aren't met, you can't get into that connection of the sacral chakra. You can't get into the dynamics of sexuality if there's, you know, kind of a messed up house, as it were, you know, so that the root really has to be there. And then, you know, primarily, I feel like we're talking about the sacral chakra, but you're right. You can't have, you know, you can't work with one really without addressing the whole system.
Sounds very similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like with what you had just said, Angela, where you have to have the essentials taken care of first, and then you're building on top of that with the rest of the system, with the rest of the connection.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what we're really talking about here is feeling safety on an energetic level within the body. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, definitely with the chakra, but also, you know, even the right side of the body, which is like the masculine, yang, sun energy, deals with your past and father energy. Left side is the feminine, intuitive, healing, creative, mother energy, and the future. And so building and connects to the moon. And so the sun and moon energy kind of merging one into the spinal cord, you know, the Kundalini energy, the chakra system. Because I think as women, we are not allowed to be in our sexual energy freely. We're getting there, but, you know, there's still kind of a stigma to it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Angela and I are frequently talking about how, in general, helping partners feel safe within sex, but especially how men can help women feel safe within sex and within partnership. Just because those are areas where so many women want to feel safe, but feel like we have all these internal guards protecting us emotionally, especially protecting our hearts, that can prevent us from diving as deep into love and pleasure as we want. Really feeling held back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I was saying a minute ago, it really is about, you know, getting those basics in order, right? Do you feel safe in your home, physically, emotionally, with your partner? Are your basic needs met? Are you running at such a frenetic pace through running the household or through work? Are you going so fast that you're not taking care of yourself and your body, right? Or are you so much pouring into other people around you that the self is neglected, right? And that whole piece of taking care of yourself and making sure your container in your partnership, in your home, is a safe space for you. From that, then comes the wellspring, as it were, right? That's where you can get into really connecting and really having that creative energy. And I think we talked about it a little bit in our pussy whispering class, Katie, but you know, some of the chakras, you know, I don't like to get heavily into talking about masculine and feminine, because we all have masculine within us. We all have feminine within us. But There are chakras that are more receptive, right? That have been called feminine in the past. And, we're talking about third eye energy, that idea that women kind of have some second sight sometimes, right? We have premonitions, we have instincts, and it's real. And, women tend to very often be caregivers in the household, right? So, we're expressing our heart chakra a lot. And also the creativity that, and the sexual energy is also really quite feminine. So I talk a lot about those three chakras in terms of feminine energy as well.
And there's a big difference between feeling safe in a relationship because our partner is supportive and they're helping to co-create this feeling of physical and emotional safety with us versus feeling safe because we've also worked on our own trauma. We've also worked on this trauma that's lodged in our body from events that have happened over the course of our life. And because we practiced allowing ourselves to be energetically open to receiving love from another.
Mhm.
Sometimes people approach relationships expecting their partner to be like this magic sauce that just effortlessly heals them and makes everything sunshine and rainbows for them, instead of taking that self-responsibility and saying, I'm in control of my healing journey. My partner is a wonderful support, but I'm the one driving this train. There's a huge difference between becoming dependent on a relationship as like a way to avoid dealing with your old wounds, like you're using the relationship as a drug or as a distraction, versus using the relationship as this tool and this container for both you and your partner to heal yourselves and grow together. Kasia Urbaniak did a fantastic webinar recently where she talked about how women often have the energetic capacity of a shot glass. She was saying that we've learned to hold very little energy before immediately wanting to get rid of it. And so I'm curious, Mia, what your thoughts are on expanding our ability to be able to hold and receive energy. Like, do you feel that this is something that people should intentionally be working on?
Yeah, most definitely. And like what you said about like people using relationships to kind of not be able to deal with their trauma. So a lot of like my clients that come in, it's like clearing out the stuff from the ex-boyfriend, the ex-husband, or the trauma that came through that. So just because, especially as women, we hold things in and we feel like we don't have the safe space to express it because of our emotion. Oh, she's angry. Oh, she's bitter. Oh, she's sad, or
Mhm.
stuff like that. And so we hold that in, so we can't really experience that. What did you say? Angela, the water, the sprout.
Yeah, the wellspring.
The
Yeah.
wellspring.
We can't
And
squirt if we don't feel that
yeah.
emotional safety. Ding, ding, ding.
And so um it's tough. It's tough for a woman. And also the womb holds so much. And as we're having sex and stuff, and the man, they're going up our heart chakra, they're going up their whole chakra system. And so sometimes they have chest issues, especially the heart chakra might be blocked, or the sacral chakra. So I'm mostly just kind of clearing that out and helping women get that self-confidence, that Lilith energy, that Kali energy, and Isis energy kind of back into them, and that self-confidence. So yeah, energy healing definitely can help, and sound healing. I've definitely had people kind of feel that sexual energy during the sound. So
Mhm.
it's amazing what can happen because sound healing can clear out that energy, just kind of like Reiki or acupuncture. It's kind of clearing out those blockages that we hold on so tightly to.
I've been so curious about sound healing. Like, I haven't been to a session yet, but it's one of those things that's been on my need to do this soon list. I'm
Mhm.
curious if you can very briefly explain how sound healing works.
Sure, yes. So I use crystal bowls. You can use other different instruments, and the singing bowls are tuned to 432 hertz, and it connects to the C major scale. So you'll hear that do, re, mi during it. And so as the sound healer practitioner, I intuitively play the bowls, and connect to the person's energy, and kind of guiding the sound to go to areas that need healing. And so what the person will feel is a whoosh of energy. They might also experience like tingling vibrations, just feeling the energy move side to side, up and down. and feel so deeply relaxed. And some people just don't feel like they can move. They feel heavy. And so neurologically, sound healing can help with just people with brain fog or, MS or headaches or stress. And so it's really fine tuning the body to its natural frequency so everything can kind of flow. I always say it's almost like, a symphony playing, because each organ has a vibration. And so when you're sick or, you have this emotional distress, it's because there's that area is out of tune. And so the sound healing will help to reattune that and then raise the vibration.
What a fascinating perspective. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So, thank you for sharing about the sound healing, Mia. I mean, there's so many different modalities, right? That can be applied. Everybody has different things that they need to heal, and there's so many different ways to get there. And just going back to what Caity was talking about a few minutes ago, about like there's the dealing with your own old wounds piece, and then there's the container of the partnership, right? It's not all about the partner, right? What really needs to happen is threefold. Your partner has to make you feel safe in the relationship for you to be able to open up sexually. But also, you have to have done enough inner work to be comfortable with that opening up, which means addressing trauma and maybe addressing residue from past relationships and maybe addressing, layers that you've picked up from society, from your religion, et cetera, right? So your own work. And you have to have your energy body ready for that as well, right? It's not just a mental effort. There's a very physical mind body piece going on here. So just working through things on a mental level generally isn't enough.
I've heard that's one of the major shortfalls of more traditional methods of therapy, like talk therapy, is that's great, but that doesn't address what's still in the body. That's just the head piece a lot of the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talk it through with your therapist. I love that. Everybody
Great
should,
start.
right?
But it's not everything.
And what stories are in your body still? What is still there? Mia, what do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I tell people that Reiki is like a therapy session. You just don't talk, but
Love that.
yeah, but every Reiki session for people or sound healing is so different, and it's a different experience every time. And some people, some of the stuff that just comes up, especially with relationships, is amazing, where they didn't even think it was theirs. It could be even picking up their ancestors, their parents, their family stuff. And so it gets so much deeper than people realize. And just, I think we're starting to get back into the feminine energy. So honoring, watering ourselves, kind of like the cups in the tarot, where we are starting to be our holy temple and our holy grail within our body. So it's a beautiful thing. And so I think all of us, male and female, are shedding a lot and going into the crystals, the sound healing, the Reiki, coaching, and the other healing practices or holistic practices, because we're all ready to just become one.
Yeah. Beautiful. Age of Aquarius.
And I feel like people are just also curious to look for ways that kind of venture out of the more traditional, like Western approaches to healing. It's okay, well, these ones are great. The ones that insurance will cover are great, but what's something more holistic? Like we're recognizing so many more ways that the medical model, where the gaps are, places where there haven't been other explanations. So people are a lot more open to trying these types of modalities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I was literally just talking with a pelvic floor therapist today about that. They're dealing with the bones, they're dealing with the muscles, they're dealing with the tendons, and there's also what story is in the client's body. Both things have to heal.
Yeah, I think people like going to the doctors or therapists and stuff like that. They're just like, but I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising. Why am I still feeling like this? Why can't I get over so-and-so? Why can't I connect or attract a beautiful relationship or a healthy relationship? And it really goes down to energy, because everything is energy. And I think what we have lost is our connection to nature too. That just popped in my head. I think we've lost that connection where we're just existing and not really just kind of flowing and being present and seeing the beauty of how the sexual energy has created everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Look at me go.
We love it.
So talking about this like threefold concept again, where your partner makes you feel safe, you've done the work, you've addressed the energy deficiencies. I was thinking before this episode, Katie, that we covered a lot of this season on Quickies. We had Mistress Mariko talking about foundational communication skills and relationships. We had Stacey Stoddard talking about EMDR, so dealing with that trauma and that psychological piece. And now we've had Mia here talking about the energetic aspect of being ready to open up to love. Mia, I think our listeners might want to hear a little bit more about your offerings and maybe, ways you could help our listeners tune up their own energy. What do you have?
Yeah, so I offer Reiki, sound healing. I also teach Reiki and cupping, and I am soon going to be offering shamanic practices, more of the Kiro or Andean practice. And each practice is different but the same. And so what I do with clients, especially new ones, we're finding out, okay, what's going on, what's their intention, how can they better themselves, and how can Reiki and sound healing work for you? All my sessions include the singing bowls. I think everyone loves to have the Reiki, the sound healing, and intuitive messages. So I use usually oracle cards to kind of guide them. The cards do call people out. I was a witness today of getting called out, and it's just kind of guiding people. But I always say, you have free will, free choice. Don't allow to give your power to me, the cards, whatever I pick up, because you know what? You can change your life in an instant. It's just the mindset and your consciousness. And so I have seen so many clients change their habits, just not even, they might still not feel that great, but they are changing their habits and they want to get better. They want to heal. They want to get a new job. They want life to be enjoyable. And so, like I said earlier, each session is different and it goes deeper and deeper, the sound healing and Reiki on to really bring that person to their true nature, their true source. And so that's what I offer. And I do distant Reiki as well. So on Zoom or Google meetings as well. And so people can find me on social media at Mia Moon Creations and Facebook. My Facebook page is Mia Moon Creations, and LinkedIn is Mia Proctor. And I have a YouTube page where I do my sound healing meditations, Mia Moon Creations. So yeah, just look up Mia Moon Creations, and my website is miamooncreations.com. So yeah.
Great. And we'll have all that in the show notes as well. Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Mia, for your time here today and for sharing your guidance with us about feeling safe and really being able to open up with our partners and to energy.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was an honor.
Yes, thank you for being here, Mia.
And that's all for this episode of Quickies with Angela and Caity. Thank you for listening, and you can follow us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
If you'd like more great information on sex, love, and relationships, be sure to follow us on social media. I am on the web at AuthenticHeartCoach.com, or you can find me on Instagram at AuthenticHeartCoaching.
And you can find me at CaityCoaches.com as well as on Instagram at CaityCoaches.
And I have something newer to announce to our listeners. I have a free 3-minute intimacy triage. So you'll see the link to download it in the show notes. If you are not having as much sex as you'd like with your partner, I would encourage you to check it out. You'll find some solid ideas about how to remedy that situation. And if you've been hearing me talk about my Get Closer couples retreat in July in Costa Rica, that retreat is now sold out. But you can join me at 2 workshops coming up in Annapolis, Maryland. My Get Closer workshop for couples is on August 4th, and I'm doing tantric massage for him on September 8th. And if you're more interested in private work with your partner, let's have a conversation about how I can help you light a fire and transform your intimacy.
And speaking of transforming your intimacy, we also have a spectacular on-demand masterclass all about vulva pleasure, deep orgasms, and intimate connection with your partner. So if that's interesting to you, check out our classes for both women and men and couples at pwclass.com. And we also have a brand new free 16-minute video available on our website where we cover the 3 biggest factors to women's lasting sexual satisfaction, how to create erotic bliss every time you go to bed, and how to avoid a sexless dry marriage at any age. So you can watch that now for free by giving us your email at the link in the show notes below. And with that said, we'll see you next time on Quickies with Angela and Caity.